You've got a cupboard of brews that you don't know what to do with, what to mix with what to put in where. There's no need to fret because there's someone here to help you. He's not just a man, he's an idiot too. The cocktail idiot. Yes, it's the cocktail idiot. It's cocktail time with your host, me, Jonty, the cocktail idiot, and the camera lady, Georgie.
Oh, Georgie. I was already saying Georgie.
Oh, sorry, I took your line. We need to practice that off camera. I don't think we've got it right once.
No, I know.
Anyway, we're back. We missed a week, but fear not, we've returned. Bigger and better.
Bigger from the wedding.
Exactly. Yeah. So, today we are going to be making... Actually, no, I can't say that. For legal reasons, I'm going to be telling you how to make a dark and stormy. Georgie's looking puzzled, but you'll learn all about it in history time.
Lovely.
So, let's crack on and make our dark and stormy. I'll tell you how to make a dark and stormy. I'm going to make something slightly different.
God, this is tiring
and then
already,
we'll learn all about it. So, you're going to need, just to make it in a glass, so it's a nice and easy one, and all you need is 3 simple ingredients. You need dark rum, you need ginger beer, and you need 1 wonderful lime.
Don't look too excited about it.
I love a bit of lime. So,
you look very glum.
Oh, 1 wonderful lime.
Yeah, that's much better.
Did I get it?
Yes, you did.
Excellent.
Audition done.
Audition done. Right. So, going to start with putting some ice into our glass. Oh, that's too much ice.
Oh my goodness.
Ice has gone everywhere. Perfect amount of ice. And then you're going to take your ginger beer. Unscrew it. Oh, that's a new one. And then you're going to put basically up to about here. Somewhere like that. Let's see what measurement that is. About 100 ml. Between 100 and 150, depending on your preference and your glass. So I'm going to put a bit more in.
$150 was the correct
That
answer.
was 150. And I'll top it up. So even more. But we're going to put a little bit of lime in. Take a lime. Give it a roll. Always important to roll the lime.
Not important to tell us why.
Because it releases the juices. Give your lime a squeeze. So we're going to do 20 ml of lime. So the original Dark and Stormy does not have lime in. It's an added addition. There we go, 20 ml. And that's going to go in there. And then we're going to give that a little stir. And then, one final touch. A little bit more ice. On there. And then you want to do your dark rum. And you're going to use, where's my jigger? There it is. Boom. 50 ml of dark rum. And we're going to float that on top. Like that.
Looks like a lemonade mixed with a Coke.
Exactly. Now, needs a little bit garnish. Don't know why I'm rolling that one. Don't need to roll that one. What should we do, George? A wedge or a wheel?
A wheel.
A wheel. Can't go wrong with a wheel. Put that there. And then, obviously, because you've layered it, you are going to want to stir it. So, bit of advertising.
The cocktail idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ta-da.
A bit of merch. Is that what it's called?
I think so.
It doesn't stay in. It's terrible merch. And then a straw.
It's too big of a glass.
And there we have technically not a dark and stormy. It's history time! Yeah! I'm excited about this history time, George. Can you tell?
Yes.
So, the dark and stormy can only be called a dark and stormy if you have Gosling rum in it. That is a dark and stormy, and I will tell you for why. So, the history of the dark and stormy goes right back to the beginning of the 1800s, when a gentleman called William Gosling, in the lovely city of London town.
There's so many accents. God.
Should I hold back on the accents?
Well, are we Londoners or are we Welsh?
A bit of both. Anyway, our good friend William, he was a booze seller in London, or a spirit seller, and he was quite a successful one, but he decided that London was not enough for his business, so he sent his son James Gosling to the New World on better things to find new adventures, because that's where obviously everyone was going and exploring. So apparently he filled up a charter ship called Mercury.
Mercury?
Mercury, the planet.
Yeah, Mercury.
Yeah, it was called Mercury. It was a charter ship, and he put apparently £10,000 worth of booze on it, which I'm told in today's money is about just under £800,000. So that's a lot of alcohol.
That's a big risk.
That's a big ship. Anyway,
Okay.
Turns out old Captain James wasn't that good at the sailing part of sailing, because after 96 days his charter ran out and he had to return the ship, and he'd only got as far as Bermuda, which is about 700 miles away from the coast of America. To give you an idea, good old Christopher Columbus 100 years earlier had got there in about 5 weeks.
Oh.
So he was way off. Anyway, he decided not to worry. I quite like Bermuda, so I'm going to set up in Bermuda. And thank goodness he did, because otherwise this drink, which isn't the drink, would not be sitting here today. So anyway, this history time is getting very exciting. So he set up shop on Bermuda, and in 1824 he relocated to a new shop, and it was called on Front Street in Hamilton. And apparently there is a shop still there, so people can go and see it if they're ever passing by Bermuda.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, move on another 40 years to 1860, and they started importing rum to then produce and sell, and it was incredibly popular. And they used to sell it not in said bottles, but instead locals would come with their tinnies and their glasses and their mouths and just pour it straight from the barrel.
Right.
And they buy it from the barrel, and that was a very, very successful way of doing it, until a thing called the First World War unfortunately came along, and Bermuda was obviously involved in it because it was a world war.
Mm-hmm.
And I've lost my train of thought because I'm thinking about the World War now.
What's that got to do with selling out?
Oh yeah, so right, back to it. So there was a Royal Navy base set up on Bermuda. So what they decided to do in Old Gosling was instead start selling their bottles of rum in bottles of champagne, which was then sealed with black wax, which where the name Gosling Black Seal Rum comes from.
I can see that.
That's what the name was not produced from.
It's quite original, isn't it?
Exactly.
Sealed in a black casing, and it's called Black Seal
No,
Rum.
a black wax seal on the top.
Yeah, but that's my point. They weren't very inventive with the name.
No, okay. Well, you go and tell them that. Georgie, write a strongly worded letter. Anyway, so that is basically how the rum became what it is today. So they, where are we? Well,
we're in 1860s, got to the World War. Now what?
So then, this is where it gets a little bit hazy. Basically, the sailors most likely started mixing it with ginger beer, which is where our dark and stormy became one.
Mm-hmm.
The actual name dark and stormy, a little bit hazy where it came from, but apparently one sailor decided it looked like a dark and stormy cloud.
Yeah.
So it was called a dark and stormy. Anyway, the drink after the World War became very popular, mainly due to our good old friend Prohibition, because they banned booze in America, so people had to look further afield. One of those places was Bermuda, and that brought the Dark and Stormy more into America and became incredibly popular throughout the rest of the 20th century, so much so that other rums started coming in and saying, no, don't use Gosling's rum, use our rum for your Dark and Stormy.
Yeah.
And Gosling thought, no, that's not how we're going to have it. So in 1991, they managed to file a suit and win a trademark on the name, the Dark and Stormy, which is why you can only call a Dark and Stormy if it has their rum in it.
Yeah.
And to give you an idea of just how rare that is, there's only 3 other cocktails in the whole world of cocktails that are trademarked.
Oh.
There's a hand grenade, which is basically a mixture of like a shot in a hand grenade, but I think you can only buy that from a few nightclubs. That's very rare. There's the painkiller, which is obviously made of Puss's rum, which is a rum of the English Navy, and then there's the Zazarak, which is basically an old-fashioned. But I'm not going to disrespect that.
Right.
But it's basically like Absolute coming along and going, you know what? People put Absolute Citron in a Cosmopolitan. We're going to have the Cosmopolitan. But no, they did not. Anyway, that is where the Dark and Stormy came from. And that is the end of History Time.
Yay.
I felt History Time definitely outweighed Making Time.
Yes, I agree.
But there was no side facts. Anyway, that's it.
Enjoy.
Enjoy your drink, even if it isn't a Dark and Stormy. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, notify, share, post your pictures, Instagram, Minstagram. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.